Did you know everything is recorded?
I did.
This podcast is recorded. Did you know that?
No. What's this?
I've been recording these podcasts the entire time. You thought we were talking to the wall, but we weren't. Okay, I don't know how to start this introduction because it's kind of weird.
It's a little
Strange.
convoluted, in all honesty. Richard Russell,
Founder of XL Recording.
founder of, he's the head
Yeah.
of XL Records.
Mm-hmm.
The same guy who signed Adele, has Radiohead and Arca,
And
produced
had this.
They
Tears
did
of Denial.
Produced records by Gil Scott-Heron and of course the legend Bobby Womack. Richard Russell was the head, or I guess is the head of XL. Is he still?
I think he's still the head.
I think he is.
I know he was a founder.
But in 2013, basically, he was hospitalized, being paralyzed. He has Guillain-Barré syndrome. The best I can pronounce that.
Now you know how it feels to be me. And
basically,
pronounce terrible words, even though this is actually hard to pronounce.
It is.
But like just knowing how to just like be shit at pronouncing something.
Basically,
Constant.
that was a autoimmune disease that attacks your nervous system. So he was paralyzed, and he can twiddle his fingers a little bit in the hospital, and he was sent this little little synthesizer, to kind of keep him busy and help regain that motion, and that is kind of what this album is based off of, is that synth and how it kind of brought him back into music in itself. And finally, Richard Russell began going by the name Everything Is Recorded and created this debut album, Everything Is Recorded by Richard Russell. That's him. And he basically makes the beats and plays the synth and plays the bass and the guitar. He doesn't sing.
Yeah. He's just producer.
And he relies on the voices of many others to kind of bring his
Voices and instruments of others.
Yes. Yeah.
Because Kamashi Washington's on here.
Yeah, and I mean there are a lot of others too.
Yeah.
But he relies on kind of the voices and instruments of others to get his point across and kind of share his message. You've got people like Sampha, you've got Kamasi Washington, you've got artists that I've never even heard of, eBay,
Wiki.
Wiki's on here. Sid.
Green, I always forget his name.
Gigs is on here too.
Gigs, Green Gart's Side, Infinite.
Yeah, these are some of them I know, some of them I don't.
Yeah.
Obong JR, I've never heard of him before.
Yeah.
But he's also got a lot of really big names in production wise too.
Damon
Albarn, Brian Eno, Warren Ellis.
What track is Brian Eno on? Did I miss that in the production notes?
I don't remember what track he
Okay.
helped. I know he helped. Peter Gabriel's on here.
Yeah, that was weird. Like I was hoping because it said on the track list on their website that Peter Gabriel was featured, but it was more like a writing feature. It wasn't like
it's like writing an instrumental.
Yeah,
but dang, this.
Yeah,
this is full of some like really big names here.
Yeah, and honestly, going into it, I didn't think I was gonna like it. Not because I didn't enjoy the track, which we talked about last year, Mountains of Gold, because I really enjoyed that because it was able to bring so many different people together, but it was one unified piece. But I just felt overall it was just not going to be a solid piece because there's so many other different people, because he was on production, just on production, and then he was going to have other people doing vocals for him, just because he was going to have other people doing vocals for him. And I was very surprised going into this how good it was. It's a well-made, unified piece. The production of the piece, and how he keeps on bringing back these features. How Sampha keeps on showing up in the album. How Kamasi Washington shows up a couple times. How Ibele shows up a couple times. How Infinite shows up a couple times, how Green Gart side shows up a couple times. So like it has a recurring cast. Like Gigs and Wiki only show up once, but like they're kind of the odd ones out on the album.
Yeah.
Most of the cast is recurring. I just think the production of the piece is what makes it so unified, and it's again, we mentioned Damon Albarn, who's on production on She Said. He plays the synth, and it reminds me a lot of a Gorillaz album, of what a Gorillaz album in kind of essence should be. The production is the same, and the features do take center stage, but everything feels unified. Damon Albarn pops up on a Gorillaz album here, and especially on Humans, kind of here and there, and randomly at times.
There's just not enough of him.
There's not enough of him, but that didn't feel like a unified piece. But like Demon Days, that's such a tight knit piece. Plastic Beach, again, a really tight, neat, consistent piece. Damon Albarn's not on every track, but he doesn't need to be, because it just flows so well. There's just Snoop Dogg. Welcome to Plastic Beach. There's just Snoop Dogg on it in the orchestra. Damon Albarn's nowhere to be found, but he's not needed, because it's so exciting, so fun, but it meshes with everything else so well that it doesn't matter. This is the same way. This album throughout gives me like Kanye West vibes. Either My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy, like on the closing track, everything is recorded, or a lot on this project. I get a lot of 808s and Heartbreaks vibes, which is nice.
For sure.
I just like that style of pop music, and I think it's pop R&B music, and I think Richard Russell does it really well. I think this is the first time since 808s that I've heard the style be done in such a fluid way. Yeah, this album's surprisingly really exciting. I honestly liked it. I listened to this yesterday, not thinking I liked it, and I'm like, okay, at the end, I'm like, yeah, this is good. Listened to it one more time yesterday, because parts just kept on getting stuck in my head. I'm just like, wow, this is good. Listened to it this morning. I was just like, ooh. Listen to it again today. Just, ooh, it just kept on growing on me. Every listen, I was just like getting more and more hooked, how much I liked it. What do I like about this project? Every time Richard Russell and Sampha get together, Sampha fucking kills it. I think he's the strongest performer on this project overall. The closing track, everything is recorded. Probably my favorite moment, just because it is just Sampha and Richard Russell. The not really opening, but the first like actual song, Close But Not Quite. That gives me chills. Just like the Curtis Mayfield sample that comes out of nowhere as a complete surprise to me is just so beautiful. It's something I would hear on Kanye West, My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy. I really like the very cheery piano production. Sampha delivers just such a valid performance, and I feel like sometimes the performances that's like the weakest thing I have to say that this album offers. I think there's two moments in particular where performances are just not up to snuff. I think Gigs on Wet Looking Road. I don't know. I said word. Wet Looking Road just doesn't do his best. Like he's not as hype as someone who is kind of considered a grime artist should be. I want like balls to the wall insane, but he's just kind of like laid back. The beat is very energetic and exciting, and I really enjoy the sample, but he's just kind of over. Just like, ting. And then Show Love with Sid and Sampha. Sampha's great. Sid is just not that strong vocally. She's never been that strong vocally. I think overall the track doesn't suffer from it. I think at the hook they're able to hide her weakness, but just on her lone verse, it's just like her auto-tune is just not that good. It's just not. She's not the strongest vocalist she's never really had. And I think she needs like tracks dedicated to her in order to show off her fullest potential as an artist. But like on this, it really isn't. But like moments that gave me complete utter fucking chills. Close But Not Quite. Again, the Curtis Mayfield sample, when that pops in, you're just like, what? Bloodshot Red Eyes with Infinite and Green Guard side. God fucking damn, is that just beautiful. It is just bloodshot, your eyes, my eyes. I don't know what it's just good. Such utterly fantastic. Yeah, like there's some brilliant moments. Oh, how can I even forget Mountains of Gold, the single that got us into Everything Is Recording. I saw an article online that said Wiki, Sampha, and Kamasi Washington are all on the same track, and I was like, what the fuck is this? Sent it to you. You were more confused than I was, and we listened to it, and we're blown away about how this fits so well. eBay, I always mess up their name. eBay, Sampha, Wiki, and Kamasi Washington, all on the same track, and it works so well. Kamasi Washington at the end, fucking killing it on the sax. Wiki killing it on his fucking verse, giving him the Manhattan style that we come to love with Wiki. One of his strongest performances. Sampha killing it, and Bay, I forget which sister it is. I remember it in my notes, but killing it with the spoken word. Lisa Diaz.
Not to mention they're singing Sampha over top of Lisa is amazing. Yeah. I love their voices blend really well together.
Hear it louder. I just like how they sampled that through the entire track. So going back to Kamasi Washington, my only like big complaint about his part on She Said is it just doesn't fit. Like, it's not bad.
No.
But it's just like the track's very synthetic. Again, Damon Albarn's on the synth, and it's like it's soulful, but it's also like it's very funky. Very synthetic, Plastic Beach vibe, of course, because David Albarn's on the synth. But it's just like his sax solo is just
a little out of place.
It's
a real life instrument. It's natural, made of metal.
It's natural versus synthetic, and it just doesn't work. But there's some like utterly brilliant moments on this, and I think it's a very good project. I like this project a lot. And like the more I listen to it, the more I think people are just sleeping on it. Like, I thought people were sleeping on the Mountains of Gold single when it came out, but like when I look at reviews for this album, I just think people are just like sleeping on it. Like, you think something with Sampha attached. Sampha is such like a big name artist nowadays. He's worked with Drake.
There for
he's
sure.
worked with Kanye West, like two of the biggest names in hip hop. Like, he's a well-known name. He dropped Process last year to critical acclaim, and people love that. But something with his name attached to it, he's on a lot of the tracks, he really isn't that.
He's not getting his credit.
Richard Russell isn't really getting that buzz that by having a sample attached. And I feel like it's disappointing. This is a really good project. I like it a lot. It grows on me. I think some of the weaker moments on it though, Show Love, Sampha gives a good job. Says not too much. I think Wet Looking Road is with gigs is just I think kind of towards the end, Be My Friend and Kane. Actually, no, Kane's good. Be My Friend is one of the weaker moments. It's not bad, but it's just not as exciting as some of the other tracks. I do like Kane though for eBay's spoken word. I like the poetry sample in the middle. I just think it's all over the place. Okay, I talked for way too long. What do you like about this record?
This record really surprised me. I didn't actually know really what I was getting into besides Mountains of Gold. No. But I started it out and I absolutely loved how well this whole album flowed into each other. It was like a Gorillaz album, but it worked really well. It flowed better than humans could ever dream of working. Even the intro, the sample that kept coming back, One May Feel Alone, where the guy's talking about being alone. He's talking about how you can be...
Trying to steal some cereal.
I steal you.
I'm sorry.
He's talking about how he you might feel alone at work without being alone. You might feel alone wherever you in crowds without being actually alone. And I think that's kind of the moral of what's going on in Richard Russell's life and what he felt during that time of paralysis. He was in the hospital. I'm sure he was surrounded by friends, family, hospital staff, but he felt so alone in his own disease. He felt alone and imprisoned by his own body. He felt imprisoned by his own creative limits, but he worked around that with the synth and created something that led into something amazing.
Yeah.
Close but not quite, like you said, gives me chills every single time. That is such an amazing track. Almost like a Sam Smith vibe to it, but 20 times better.
Nah, like just saying it is a Sam Smith type vibe. It's not. It's Kanye. This is Kanye.
I'd say
sampling.
Sam Smith, but like this is amazing.
Brilliant.
I absolutely loved it. She said I really enjoyed Wet Licking Road. It didn't really give me any problems, honestly.
It's not bad. It's just
no.
Not,
it's just kind of weird.
Not what it needs to be. It needs to be punchy.
It's
as
a
fuck.
little
It's
weak,
not.
but it's not. It's not bad.
Gigs doesn't like ruin it. It's just not. It's like he needs to be like. He's like kind of sleepy. He's had a long day of work. And then he was recording this track. He needed like an energy
Put on
drink.
a long day at the factory.
Yeah.
Next standout moment, definitely Mountains of Gold. This collaboration is absolutely fantastic. I loved it. Kamasi Washington, like you said, at the end just comes in with his hard-hitting sax, plays us out in a beautiful way. And Show Love, honestly, I liked Show Love quite a bit.
I like Sampha's part.
I even think that the two work together well, and
I feel like there is chemistry between the two,
but
I feel like Sid is just
But I think that Sampha was given a bigger part on purpose, and I'm super glad that he was.
Makes sense.
Absolutely. The Echoes in the Bone interlude where the intro comes back in, the same sample again.
Yeah, okay. One thing I gotta mention, the actual intro of this album, how it plays out all the different like lines from the rest of it, how it gives you a preview of coming track. It's beautiful. I like shit like that.
That's really cool.
I
It's
love
really
like
cool.
giving you the interludes. This is how you fucking do interludes, because they're just like short little musical moments. They don't overstay the time, and they're just nice little.
They're bridges.
listens.
They're
Yeah.
bridges. They're supposed to bridge a track into another, bridge an idea into another, and the bridge between Show Love and Bloodshot Red Eyes is fantastic. I love Bloodshot Red Eyes. Here's where my problems kind of start to come up. I personally didn't enjoy Kane that much. I feel like
the track.
Both. I feel like I might after a couple more listens, but it wasn't there for me after experiencing the beauty of the whole first half of the album. Kane it was a little boring for me, but I think that it, like, once I start, I guess, paying more attention to the lyrics, or, I don't know, once I just let it settle, I guess, I think it'll grow on me quite a bit. The Purify interlude, once again, amazing bridge into the next track. Be My Friend reminds me a lot of like a Backstreet Boys kind of vibe. Can you see it? Like a 90s power pop track, or like a early 2000s power pop track. Probably one of the weaker moments on here. I'm not a huge fan, but it's not an album breaking moment at all. And then finally playing out with Everything Is Recorded. We bring back Sampha by himself. Amazing choice on Richard Russell's part.
The orchestral. God fucking damn.
The musical choices made in Everything Is Recorded just really put the entire album into perspective, because I thought about how many different changes went on in one song, brought me into how many different changes were brought into the entire album. You know, this was played out really, really well, and just made to be a musical masterpiece. Yeah. I was blown away once I made that connection, I guess.
Yeah, just Sampha. I want a Sampha album produced just by Richard Russell. That's all I want.
Those two work together really well, as proven.
Sampha's my favorite part of this album, and he shows up a lot. Every time he shows up, I enjoy his performance. Close but not quite. At the beginning, Everything Is Recorded at the end. Two of the best moments in the album. Probably wonder why. It's because they both have samples. But they also have Sampha, and they both have excellent production from Richard Russell. I want a Sampha album produced by Richard Russell. Yeah, I want Sampha and Richard Russell producing his album.
Yeah.
I think they just work really well together. And I honestly kind of hope that Everything Was Recording was Richard Russell and Sampha. It was the pairing of the two.
I hope so. He showed up enough on here to at least have some sort of creative decision making here. Yeah. Overall, final thoughts. I'm really glad that I got the opportunity to listen to this album.
We almost didn't review this week. And I don't know.
Twist of fate led us to review it, and I'm super glad that we did. In all honesty, in a way, it reminds me of a toned down JPEG Mafia, in saying that like there's not as much like gritty hip hop. There's not as much like just weird sampling or just like raw emotion, but in the way that it's just odd but amazing.
I don't get that because J-Pop Mafia was just constantly surprising. Not to say this is surprising and not
It
surprising.
wasn't
'Cause
surprising,
it is,
but it worked. It brought together a lot of things that I didn't think it would work, and they did.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's kind of what JPEG Mafia did. Overall, I've been pondering the score a lot throughout the day. I'm gonna give it a 9.
You are?
Yeah.
I'm gonna give it a 9 too. I was literally, because like my initial review, I was gonna give it like a 7, and then I went like 8.3, and then like I listened to it just before you came. I'm just like, this is not 8.3.
What happened to you giving Car Seat Headrest the top album of the week?
So like just like shitting on just like it made me realize how much I dislike those parts. Just how much I dislike Tom, or not Tom York. I keep wanting to say Tom York. Will Toledo just
Yes, they're both moody and edgy.
they both dance incredibly well.
Yes.
They're both phenomenal dancers. But like I think it's just because of styles. But yeah, I just think Will Toledo's pretentiousness kind of just pissed me off when I first listened to it, and I feel like I kind of like hid that gut reaction, and I was gonna give it a 9 at one point, and I just realized that's it's good, but it's just that's what kind of kept it from this. And in the end, I really like this because it is such a consistent project. It surprised me in a good way.
It's consistently just like weird and beautiful, and wonderful.
And at the end of the day, moments that were on this album were stuck in my head the most. Like I did like Out, and that did have parts of stuck in my head. I like Car Seat Headrest, I have parts stuck in my head, but like Bloodshot Red Eyes has been stuck in my head for fucking day, the entire day. Everything is recorded and stuck in my head. The sample from Close But Not Quite has been stuck in my head the entire day. Parts of Shola, parts of Mountain of Gold. This album is incredibly catchy. It's stuck in my head. And the fact that it's so underrated and I feel like underappreciated, I kind of have to give it a 9. I think this is a very slept on.
It is our duty to give this a 9 so more people will listen to it.
I think we kind of have to. And the fact that like I had the most fun listening to this album.
Me too.
This was the last album I listened to yesterday. And honestly, it was my favorite. And I kind of wish I didn't listen to it last. I kind of wish I started with that and then went into Car Seat Headrest and then went into Out. Or no, maybe would Everything Is Recorded, then Out, and then closed the Car Seat Headrest. Because I feel like that one, it would have changed how I kind of viewed it more. But yeah, I think this record's utterly brilliant. Like it's really good, and like just us talking about it just like made me flash about like, oh, we had fun here, you see, we had fun here, you see, same way you were talking about like your end list and how like Quelly Chris kept on like popping up in your head because it just, you had so much fun with it.
Yeah,
that's what I like about this project. I just had to have so much fun with it. You may think it's like a 6, you may think it's like a 7, but I think it's a 9. I think it is it's very well produced record, and this is what I wanted from fucking Sampha. Like this is the potential I saw with him on tracks, on Process, and I did enjoy Process, but I felt like the production all the time wasn't like matching him. Like there's a lot of piano ballads, and not to say piano ballads are bad, they're bad because they do provide a lot of emotion and stuff like that, but like my favorite moments on that album are like Timmy's Prayer, where there's a change up in production, or a Blood on Me. I think this album, especially with the Sampha part, it describes about what I like about this track. Sampha's giving us a good performance under excellent production, so it makes Sampha even look better than he already is, and he's utterly fantastic. Richard Russell just blows me away on this, and just us talking about it, I want to go listen to it. I want to listen to Bloodshot Red Eyes like 500 more times.
And good.
And yeah, like I think this record's great. I feel like it's very slept on, and 9 out of 10, and I really like it. Yeah, I'll leave it at that. I really liked it. Rachel Russer, I hope you are doing good, and I hope you're really appreciated because you made it. Good album. I'm gonna leave it at that.